Welcome to One Tired Teacher, episode 222. Two birds, one stone, integrating science into your reading block. Today, I'm going to talk to you about saving time, stealing back some time in your reading block with integrating the content area of content, the content area of science. Let me get this together here. The content area of science into your reading block by focusing on informational text standards and engaging topics in science so that you can cover two subjects at once, which steals back some time for hands-on science later in the day. Yay! So I hope you are ready for that information because it can be really helpful. And I want you to think about are you so tired of teaching science and reading comprehension separately? Do you feel like a two-headed monster trying to balance both subjects in your already packed lesson plans? Well, fear not, my fellow educators, because there is a solution that kills two birds with one stone. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Integrating science into your reading block saves valuable time and enhances student learning by making connections between the two subjects. So why not give it a try and see the magic happen? Let's dive into how to make this integration work seamlessly. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Devery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Devery.
Hey, so I'm excited to talk about two birds and one stone today, integrating science into your reading block. This is something that I feel really passionately about because I know as a second grade teacher and as a first grade teacher, former first grade and second grade teacher, I had a really hard time covering everything. I had a hard time teaching science. I felt like I never got to science and it didn't feel fun for me and and didn't feel fun for the kids, and I hated that for them because science is so important. So important. And if we want to, do well as a nation in the area of science and technology and innovation, then we have to teach our kids science. And it's just so important. And the best way to learn science is hands-on. And I know that we don't always have time for that. And that's why I think it's so important to really intrigue kids, build their knowledge with informational texts that's focused on highly engaging passages of science or highly engaging books or videos, technology, all that kind of stuff. And then we can do our teaching of informational text standards. And then we can buy back some time for hands-on science, which is my favorite. So before we start that, I want to let you know that this episode is being sponsored by my nonfiction science reading comprehension passages with questions and bonus science experiment. I have a bundle that contains 9 different science topics, and I integrate science and reading informational text. Hey there, you fellow science enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your second grade students on an epic scientific journey? Yay! Introducing the second grade science year-long bundle. This incredible resource is jam-packed with nonfiction passages and bonus experiments that will ignite a passion for science in your little learners. Inside this bundle, you'll find a treasure trove of knowledge. I've carefully crafted nonfiction passages covering a wide range of science topics, all specifically designed for second graders. From animals and plants to weather to force and motion, your students will explore the wonders of our natural world with captivating texts. But wait! There's more. Each topic comes with bonus experiments that bring the concepts to life. Your students will become true scientists as they dive into interactive hands-on activities. These experiments foster critical thinking, problem solving, and a deep understanding of scientific principles. It's learning in action. This year-long bundle has got you covered from start to finish. Whether you're teaching life science, earth science, physical science, you'll find resources to support every unit. Yay! And the best part? It's all conveniently organized, making it a breeze to find the perfect lessons for any given topic. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to what fellow educators have to say. The second grade science year-long bundle has transformed my science lessons. These passages are engaging and experiments are a hit with my students. It's a complete game changer. That was Miss Rodriguez, a second grade teacher. I was searching for a comprehensive science resource, and this bundle exceeded my expectations. The kids are so excited about science now. Mr. Thompson says that. Mrs. Johnson says, the bonus science experiments are fantastic. They bring science to life and keep my students engaged. I can't recommend this bundle enough. Mr. Davis says, so that's me. So I don't know why I just said that. So fellow science enthusiasts, why settle for ordinary when you can provide extraordinary science experiences? Get your hands on the second grade year-long bundle today and watch your students' curiosity soar. Second grade science year-long bundle where science comes alive in your classroom. You can find this at my shop on TPT, Trina Debery Teaching and Learning. And it's all under $20 for the whole entire year. So it's such a great deal. You're saving over 30% when you buy the bundle. I know you're going to love it. I hope that you will check it out. Now on with the show. Okay, so let's talk about why we should integrate science into reading. If you're a teacher, why bother integrating science into reading? Let me tell you, it's like peanut butter and jelly. They belong together. Science topics are fascinating and can also be used to teach essential reading skills. By introducing science units into your classroom, you can make learning fun and exciting for students while also helping them improve their comprehension skills. It's like two of my passions come together. I love science. I love the hands-on aspect. I love the inquiry-based thinking. I love the innovation and critical thinking and all those skills that are so relevant and prevalent when we're teaching science. But I also am a huge firm lover of reading comprehension, and comprehension being the most important aspect of reading, and not just word calling, and not worrying about how fast or slow we're reading, but actually understanding and utilizing what we're reading. And that is what I really love. So I think that this can really be a benefit to both of these passions. The other massive benefit of integrating a science topic into your reading is you can steal back some valuable time in the day to include hands-on science later in the day. Thank goodness. Can you say hallelujah? Kids learn science the best through actual exploration, challenges, and other hands-on activities. Your science classroom can consist of literacy skills and science. Win-win! Do you still need convincing? Here's another reason. Small groups. Integrating science or social studies into reading allows for smaller group instruction within the classroom. This is especially useful for struggling readers who may need more individualized attention. By grouping your students based on their interests in science topics and other subject areas, teachers can create a more engaging and effective learning environment that caters to each student's unique needs and abilities. So there you have it. Integrating science into reading is a double win situation for teachers and students alike. So let's talk about some of the benefits of integrating science and reading. Science and reading may seem like entirely different subjects, but did you know that integrating them can have some serious benefits? It is true. Students can effectively learn both disciplines by combining science concepts with reading skills. It's also a great way to meet the next generation science standards. First, by incorporating reading into science lessons, students can improve their comprehension skills while learning about scientific topics. We don't have to pick random nonfiction anymore. We can actually have intentional, focused, engaging, exciting science concepts, science content, science like passages, science books, again, all these things that are so fascinating to kids. This means they'll be able to understand complex concepts better and able to reply apply them in real world situations. They'll be more prepared for the real world, requiring scientific knowledge and reading comprehension abilities. Furthermore, by integrating science into reading lessons, students will become more engaged with the material and better appreciate the subject. They'll see how science impacts their daily lives and be encouraged to explore more about the world around them. I love that. So also another way to integrate science into your reading block, or another reason why we might want to consider it, is improved understanding, critical thinking, and engagement. Now, science teachers are a unique breed. And as we know, being an elementary teacher also means we are a science teacher, because as an elementary school teacher, we are a teacher of everything. And that can be overwhelming sometimes. But the true thing about science teachers, they can ignite curiosity. They inspire critical thinking, and they foster a love of learning among their students. But let's be honest, sometimes even the most well-intentioned lessons can fall flat. Oh my, that is true. That's where the anchor chart comes in. These nifty visual aids are like the Swiss Army knife of teaching tools. They're versatile, practical, and always ready for action. What exactly is an anchor chart? Well, think of it as a roadmap for your lesson plan. Anchor charts help students organize new information. They visually organize new information. They connect different concepts and retain key facts. Plus, they're super easy to create. All you need is some colorful paper or poster board and a few markers or sticky notes, and voila! You now have an engaging tool to keep your students on track and engaged throughout this class. But why stop there? Now that you have saved some time teaching reading standards using science concepts during your reading block, you can focus on hands-on science during your short science block. This is where the real fun can begin. And this is a time for kids to engage their minds and actually understand the science behind our world. Look no further than hands-on science. By actively participating in experiments, students are able to not only grasp concepts more easily, but also develop critical thinking skills. Instead of simply memorizing facts, they can apply their knowledge and problem solve in real time. Plus, who doesn't love a good explosion or chemical reaction? But it's not just about the fun factor. Hands-on science also has been proven to improve student engagement. When kids are excited about what they are learning, they're more likely to stay focused and retain information. And let me tell you, not only is this like a massive benefit, but your behavior problems go to nothing, because when kids are excited, they are learning, they are listening, they're not running around acting like crazy people. They are actually involved. And with so many cool experiments, making slime and elephant toothpaste, which I think elephant toothpaste is so cool. And I hate toothpaste in general, but elephant toothpaste, oh boy, it's easy to keep students interested and invested in their education. All right, so now that we know that, how do we integrate science into your reading block? Science and literacy may seem like two completely different worlds, but the truth is they go together like Lorelai and Rory Gilmore, my favorite. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point. Integrating science into your reading block doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, with just a few simple tweaks to your routine, you can make reading time more exciting and educational. One way to infuse science into your reading block is by having students keep science journals. These journals can be used to document experiments, observations, or any other scientific discoveries they come across. Science journals are also a great way to integrate writing. So not only are you integrating nonfiction, you're integrating writing as well. And this also encourages scientific thinking and inquiry, but it gives your students a chance to practice their writing skills in a fun and engaging way. Plus, who knows? Maybe you'll inspire the next great scientist of our time. Focusing on informational text standards with graphic organizers and flip books can be a great way to focus on literacy instruction and English language arts. One way to do this is with my Science Comprehension Passages and Questions bundle for the year, which are standards-based resources. You can grab the second grade year-long bundle, nonfiction passages and bonus experiments in print. I have them in print in my shop on TPT. I also have them in a digital version, which saves you on paper. And on the digital version, there's some drag and drop activities. There's also larger pictures. There's area for kids to write in the text boxes, and it's a way for you to do that digitally. So I do have a bundle of print and digital, but you probably need just one or the other. But the bundle for the print and digital is even more of a savings if you choose to have both of them. So engage second graders in science with nonfiction reading, comprehension passages and questions, plus bonus experiments, and finally find a way to fit science and reading comprehension into your already busy schedule. Cover topics like force and motion, energy, states of matter, and more. It really can feel like an impossible task, but this resource can be the answer you are looking for. This bundle includes engaging passages explicitly written for second graders covering 9 science topics, including, like I said, force and motion, forms of energy, and states of matter. Getting to science in the primary classroom can feel impossible. I totally get it. I know even when I was platooning with my partner and I only taught science and reading, she taught writing, math, writing, math, and social studies. We did a huge integration of writing and reading, but we also had so much fun integrating science, and I still found it to be really hard. I needed like that whole entire time to teach reading. That's when I came up with this idea of integrating science into reading. And I would cover my informational text passages my informational text standards. I would cover those standards using text that I wrote specifically for second graders. And then I had time to do a science experiment. I didn't do a science experiment every single day of the week. I did it. I usually tried to do it once every week or every 2 weeks, and that made it doable. Finally, I could teach science. So like I said, it can feel impossible, but it really comes down to utilizing that time during your reading block, which does leave you some time to do hands-on science. So my second grade science reading comprehension passages and questions bundle contains engaging science passages written for second graders that cover science, vocabulary, and reading standards. Plus, there are bonus experiments for each topic. All right, so ideas for lesson plans, activities, and resources. Now, integrating science and reading can be a tricky task, yet countless ideas for lesson plans, activities, and resources can make this content area a match made in heaven. From life cycles to ecosystems and everything in between, your students will love exploring the wonders of science through the power of reading, and this can work for all grade levels. For younger grades, elementary teachers can incorporate picture books that focus on different elements of science, like animals or space. Use these books as a jumping off point for discussing other concepts like habitats or gravity. For older students, dive into more complex texts that explore scientific discoveries or theories. Have students read articles about current events in science and have them discuss what they learned with their peers. All this reading work gives students a solid prior knowledge base for hands-on later in the day. Another great way to integrate science and reading is through hands-on experiments or research projects. For example, have students research a life cycle of butterflies using both online sources and nonfiction books from the library. All right, another idea is real-life best practices from schools or classrooms that have successfully integrated science into the reading block. In one second grade class in California, students were fascinated by the life cycles of butterflies. Their teacher cleverly integrated this topic into their daily reading block by selecting books about caterpillars and butterflies. The kids loved learning about how these insects transform from tiny eggs to beautiful creatures with wings. They even witnessed this miracle firsthand by raising monarchs in their classrooms. If you remember Lee, my dear friend Lee, when we did Two Tired Teachers, Lee Langdon from Appalicious Teacher, she did this in her classroom last year. She raised I think it was monarch butterflies. I'm pretty sure they were monarch butterflies, but she raised butterflies in her classroom, I think all the way till the end of the year. And then she had to let that very last one go. And it was so cool. It was quite an experience. You should check that out. By integrating science topics into their reading block, these students developed strong literacy skills and an appreciation for the natural world around them. Here are some science teachers, and here are some teachers at what they're saying about my science comprehension passages and questions with bonus science experiments. So Emily a second grade teacher, says, I've been using this with my students to help reinforce skills previously taught. They are engaged and learning. Thank you. You're welcome, Emily. Thank you. Nicole N says, I love how these resources can be used with the science units. It helps reinforce the science skills being taught. It's great to have resources that tie ELA in with science. Thank you. She writes in all capitals. You're welcome, Nicole. Margaret F says, thank you for sharing this quality resource. Homeschooling this year due to the pandemic, and I was thrilled to find you. I was looking for such a fun and comprehensive presentation of Common Core science units for my second grader. Oh, I'm so glad. It's nice to know that, I love to help teachers. I also love to help homeschool moms. I know it can be hard to find just the right thing for kids, so that makes me feel great. All right, let's talk about overcoming challenges. If you're a teacher of second grade students, it can be challenging to integrate science content knowledge into an already packed reading block. I mean, our reading blocks are packed. We have a specific amount of time to teach reading. Oh, it's just so much. There's so much to do. But fear not. We can turn those reading lessons into scientific explorations with a bit of creativity and some clever planning. First, consider incorporating science-themed books for your read aloud. There are plenty of picture books out there that cover different scientific concepts, such as the water cycle or animal habitats. There's also tons of videos on YouTube. You can find them in BrainPop. You can find them all over the place. Integrating technology is another wonderful aspect of that. There's so many fascinating videos. We used to have Discovery education in my school. We had a license. They had the most amazing videos on any science concept you could possibly even imagine. Not only will this help your students build their content knowledge, but it will also expose them to new vocabulary words and increase their comprehension skills. Next, think about incorporating hands-on activities during your guided reading groups. For example, if you're teaching about matter, have students explore different materials and categorize them as solids, liquids, or gases. Also, consider saving yourself a ton of time finding materials written specifically for second graders with standards-based questions to go with the content. And that's where you can grab my science year-long bundle. I have a link in the show notes if you want to check that out, and it will save you a massive amount of time. I have had I don't even know how many, thousands of teachers that have used these and love them. I used them in my own classroom. I thought they were so helpful. So hopefully they will help save you time and also engage your students. All right, let's wrap this up. In conclusion, incorporating science with complex text into your reading block uniquely accomplishes two goals at once. Not only will your students improve their literacy skills this school year, but they'll also gain valuable knowledge about the world around them, resulting in a deeper class discussion and more. It's like killing two birds with one stone, except in this case, we're nourishing both birds and our students' minds. So try some of these strategies. Who knows? You might ignite a passion for science in some of your students. Remember, there's always room for exploration when it comes to teaching. Now, I have some related podcast episodes integrating science and reading, and one of them was episode 209. It's never too late. 11 strategies to get students excited about science. Episode 201, how to incorporate Christmas into your science lesson. A look back. That is one of my favorites. I love incorporating matter into a Christmas theme. I also have incorporated Halloween into a matter unit, and it has informational text as well as experiments. So fun, both of those, either one of them. You don't have to do both of them because they're the same idea. It's just with two different themes. So you can either do it during Halloween or science. And the reason I did that was because in my district, we had to teach solids, liquids, and gases around December. So I made it a Christmas unit. It was so fun. And then I was like, this would be such a cool thing to do with slime and, eyeballs and all kinds of other stuff for Halloween. So I created a Halloween version in case you were teaching that during that time of the year. And then episode 195, 5 Easy Ways to Integrate Art and Science into Your Reading Block, is another resource for you to check out. All right, let's summarize the benefits of integrating science and reading. Integrating science and reading is not like a match. It is. I don't know why I said not. It is like a match made in heaven for elementary school teachers. Not only does it allow students to flex their critical thinking muscles, but it also helps them develop a love for both subjects. And that really is the point. By incorporating scientific literature into reading curriculums and vice versa, teachers can create a more engaging and well-rounded learning experience. Plus, who doesn't love the idea of becoming a science-loving bookworm? So let's all hop on the integration train and watch our students flourish in both science and reading. This one tired teacher is ready for a short little summer nap. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.